NFL legend Shannon Sharpe. A brand new lawsuit was just filed in Nevada claiming Sharpe was manipulative and abusive and eventually a Jane Doe.
Pro Football of Famer and Club Shay host Shannon Sharpe is being sued for $50 million, and he's being accused of SA and battery.
You remember his interview with comedian Cat Williams in January 2024 on Club Shay? That helped spark, I should say, a renewed interest in Sean Diddy Combs and his alleged bad behavior. Now it's Shannon Sharpe who's in the spotlight for his own accusations of abuse.
Imagine waking up to headlines that shake the foundation of someone you thought you knew. An NFL legend, a charismatic broadcaster, a personality who's become a household name, suddenly thrust into the center of a jaw-dropping legal storm. That's the reality facing Shannon Sharpe right now. For years, fans have watched him dissect sports, crack jokes, and build an empire built on trust and a mile-wide grin. But overnight, the conversation has shifted dramatically. From hot takes and touchdowns to court documents, sworn affidavits, and the possibility that huge business deals could crumble under the weight of accusations that feel almost unthinkable for a figure so seemingly untouchable. How did we get here, and what explosive claims lie within this unexpected lawsuit?
$50 million lawsuit that Shannon Sharpe is facing. Shannon Sharpe is facing a new lawsuit accused of SA and battery and engaging in intentional infliction of emotional distress.
But Shannon Sharpe, in case you don't know who he is, he played 14 seasons in the NFL with the Denver Broncos, the Baltimore Ravens. He was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2011. You remember his interview with comedian Cat Williams in January 2024 on Club Shay? That helped spark, I should say,
It all stems from a brand new civil action filed in a Nevada state court. The plaintiff is identified only as Jane Doe in the public record, seeking damages that could total over $50 million from the Hall of Famer. This is not a criminal case, but a civil one focused on monetary claims. According to the extensive 13-page complaint, which paints a picture of turbulent interactions, Sharpe is facing disturbing allegations that include sexual misconduct, physical altercations, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. The document suggests the relationship began innocently enough in early 2023, starting at a Los Angeles gym with playful banter and the promise of mentorship from a legendary athlete. But the narrative within the filing quickly darkens, alleging a rapid slide into manipulation, threats, and encounters the plaintiff claims were unwanted and left her deeply traumatized.
Renewed interest in Sean Diddy Combs and his alleged bad behavior. But now it's Shannon Sharpe who's in the spotlight for his own accusations of abuse. On Instagram, he wrote in part, "I'm extremely proud to represent Jane Doe. It takes a great deal of courage to stand up against those with power, fame, and money. I look forward to pressing this case in court."
According to the lawsuit, the anonymous woman says it began as a consensual relationship when she was 20 years old. She also accuses Sharpe of a in October of last year.
Unsurprisingly, Shannon Sharpe's response has been swift and fiercely defiant. Speaking through his prominent attorney, Lanny Davis, the former tight end has categorically denied every single accusation. His legal team has publicly labeled the lawsuit an outrageous attempt at blackmail, asserting that Sharpe has done nothing wrong whatsoever. While he's remained publicly silent on air, continuing his role on ESPN's flagship show, sources close to him report that behind the scenes, the usually boisterous atmosphere around his production team has shifted. Insiders describe hushed hallway conversations and frantic calls with public relations advisors, a stark contrast to his public composure. Sharpe's representatives maintain he is confident that factual evidence, once presented in court, will completely clear his name.
The complaint seeks more than $50 million in damages. Sharpe fired back, posting alleged texts from the woman in the lawsuit on social media. One of them reads, "I want you to put a dog collar around my neck and choke me with it while you're effing me."
Yet the complaint contains assertions that immediately triggered a social media firestorm and painted a deeply concerning picture. Among the most explosive claims is the allegation that Sharpe displayed a firearm during an argument. The filing specifically alleges he raised his voice while a handgun was within view. Adding to the claims of controlling behavior, The complaint alleges Sharp seized the plaintiff's phone when she attempted to share her location with friends. Perhaps most alarmingly, the document includes an allegation that he physically squeezed her neck and issued a grim threat if she dared to inform anyone about what happened. While these remain unproven allegations made within a legal filing, their mere presence has undeniably sent shockwaves through the public sphere and the sports world.
Tony Busby is on this case, right?
And he's a Houston-based attorney.
Houston-based attorney.
Been here on The Factor several times.
Yes, and we've seen him file several lawsuits against the likes of P. Diddy, against Jay-Z.
It's crucial to understand the legal context here. This is a civil action, meaning the primary goal is monetary compensation, not incarceration. In Nevada civil courts, the plaintiff must convince a jury by a preponderance of the evidence, essentially showing her account is more likely true than not, a lower standard than beyond a reasonable doubt required in criminal cases. This lower bar doesn't make it easy, however. The plaintiff still faces the significant challenge of proving her claims. Adding another layer of complexity, Sharp has reportedly fired back outside of court by posting alleged text messages from the woman in the lawsuit on social media. These texts, if verified and presented in court, could be used by Sharp's defense to challenge the plaintiff's credibility, painting a picture that contrasts sharply with the claims made in her filing and adding a layer of public confusion and debate. One alleged text, reported publicly, included a graphic request involving a dog collar and an act of rough intimacy. These alleged communications create immediate conflicting narratives that will need to be untangled by the court.
I have to say, to go after Shannon Sharpe, if you're Tony Busby, after what just happened with Jay-Z. Remember, he filed that lawsuit on behalf of a Jane Doe, a woman who claimed that she was 13 years old back in 2000 and by Jay-Z.
Let's trace the alleged progression of the relationship as outlined in the complaint. It claims that after meeting at the gym, the plaintiff accepted an invitation to Sharp's residence. In her recounting, the early encounters were consensual, even affectionate, and filled with luxurious perks: private chefs, high-end spas, prime seats at Lakers games. But the complaint alleges a change over time, with Sharp growing increasingly possessive. It claims he began monitoring her phone, questioning her choice of friends, and demanding instant replies to late-night messages. The relationship allegedly fractured in September 2023 after Sharp accidentally aired audio of himself with another woman during an Instagram livestream, a viral mishap the plaintiff viewed as a betrayal. According to her filing, she attempted to distance herself, but Sharp allegedly bombarded her with messages, made unannounced visits, and promised lavish gifts if she returned. Disturbingly, she claims Sharp even figured out how to enter her apartment complex without her permission and threatened to destroy her reputation if she spoke publicly about their interactions. The complaint asserts this escalating tension culminated in a series of alleged unwanted encounters in late 2023 and early 2024 that left her traumatized.
Sharp even figured out how to get into Doe's apartment complex without her permission.
In this case, she's saying this is a consensual relationship. We had a lot of consensual, and on these 2 or 3 separate occasions, it just so happens that it wasn't consensual.
Adding significant weight and scrutiny to the case is the involvement of the plaintiff's attorneys, particularly Houston-based Tony Busby. Busby is no stranger to high-profile litigation involving athletes. He famously represented more than 20 women in the legal challenges surrounding quarterback Deshaun Watson and has filed suits against figures like P. Diddy and Jay-Z. His track record immediately thrust this new case onto national screens and sparks intense debate. Sharp supporters are quick to suggest Busby's involvement signals a strategy aimed primarily at securing a high-dollar settlement rather than a straightforward pursuit of factual clarity. Conversely, his representation adds perceived credibility and resources to the plaintiff's claims in the eyes of some observers. This dynamic ensures the case will be debated intensely, both inside and outside the courtroom.
It's going to be a lot difficult to prove it because it begs the question, if it happened one time in October of 2024, how did it then happen again in January of 2024?
The reputational risk for Shannon Sharpe is, frankly, enormous. His entire public persona depends on trust. Trust from viewers who value his commentary, trust from colleagues who rely on his presence, and trust from sponsors who invest in his likability and brand safety. If even a fraction of these serious allegations stick, advertisers may pull back, mirroring what happened with other embattled athletes in the past. Consider the ripple effect for ESPN, which has invested heavily in Sharp's partnership with Stephen A. Smith on First Take. Losing Sharp, or having his segments become a magnet for protest and controversy, could force a costly programming shuffle. Beyond traditional media, Sharp's booming podcast empire, including the massively successful club Shay, faces potential disruption. Investors backing his new ventures may have clauses allowing withdrawal if he faces sustained negative press. Even his burgeoning line of premium beverage could face distribution hurdles if retailers fear consumer backlash.
If it happened at your apartment, as she's alleging, who did you tell? Did you speak to the apartment landowners? Did you call 911? Did you go to the hospital? So there's a concern about provability.
Away from the glare of headlines and the courtroom maneuvers, there's a significant human cost. Court documents reveal the plaintiff has sought therapy, describing anxiety, nightmares, and flashbacks stemming from the alleged interactions. She claims Sharp's alleged behavior shattered her sense of safety. Meanwhile, sources close to Sharp report that he feels ambushed and deeply hurt by what he calls fabrications. Friends describe him experiencing mood swings and appearing distracted, even during commercial breaks, as new updates hit the wire. The legal process itself is predicted to be lengthy and invasive. Experts anticipate months, if not years, of discovery, depositions, and subpoenas for personal records like phone logs, cloud backups, and even security footage from Sharp's residence. This threat of embarrassing personal details becoming public often drives early settlements, but Sharp's team insists he is prepared to fight every single claim line by line.
What might impugn her credibility are the supposed text messages that Shannon Sharpe has. These text messages suggest that she was more of the one initiating these encounters.
This lawsuit is much larger than just one celebrity scandal. It ignites broader conversations about consent, the power dynamics inherent in relationships with significant age gaps or wealth disparities, and the influence wealthy individuals can exert. While some argue that older celebrities may use financial leverage to influence younger partners, others caution against blanket assumptions about consensual age gap relationships. Regardless, the case positions Sharp as an emblem in a cultural debate stretching far beyond the sports world. It's also a stress test for how modern society weighs fame, fortune, and accountability. Our collective appetite for instant information now shapes reputations faster than courts can convene. In many ways, the drama surrounding Sharp mirrors the soap opera storylines he sometimes critiques, but now he is front and center. Every public gesture is scrutinized. When paparazzi photos showed him entering his LA studio wearing sunglasses, some framed it as him hiding. His team explained he'd just finished a red-eye flight after taping a show. But perception, especially online, often outpaces fact. The future hinges on what evidence emerges. If messages or recordings surface that corroborate claims of threats or non-consensual acts, support for Sharp could evaporate overnight. Conversely, if inconsistencies appear in the plaintiff's timeline or if communications show amicable exchanges after the alleged wrongdoings, public sympathy could shift back. This sheer unpredictability illustrates why many high-profile individuals choose to settle quickly. Each day invites new leaks, rumors, and misinterpretations amplified by social media. ESPN faces delicate optics. They've navigated controversies with on-air talent before. With Sharp under contract, leadership must balance fairness against brand reputation. Do they suspend him based solely on accusations, or maintain his role until clearer facts emerge? Both options risk significant public criticism. Suspension could be seen as presuming guilt, while continued appearances might signal indifference to serious allegations. Industry insiders hint that internal committees are reviewing every possible contingency. The next crucial dates will involve Sharp's formal legal response and the initial deadlines for discovery, the process where both sides exchange evidence. Experts expect Sharp's team to request protective orders to limit the public dissemination of potentially sensitive evidence, fearing it could be edited or taken out of context online. the plaintiff's side may argue for transparency. Beyond the immediate legal and professional consequences, the case forces a reflection on how fans consume celebrity narratives. Are we eager for downfall stories because they humanize icons or because they provide easy outrage? Do social platforms encourage snap judgments that overshadow the careful consideration of facts? The Sharp lawsuit challenges viewers to scrutinize not just the defendant, but the entire ecosystem that monetizes outrage. Financially, the $50 million demand grabs headlines, but juries rarely rubber stamp that exact sum. Lawyers typically break down the total into claims for emotional harm, reputational injury, and punitive damages meant to deter similar conduct. Nevada has no cap on punitive awards in cases alleging intentional wrongdoing, which allows headline numbers to balloon. Still, verdicts at that scale are uncommon. Any settlement would depend on Sharp's net worth and insurance coverage. Reports estimate his career earnings are significant, with his TV salary and booming podcast adding substantially to his NFL income. Plaintiff lawyers often start with a high number to influence negotiations towards a substantial settlement. The choice of Nevada jurisdiction over California, where Sharp primarily resides, is also strategic, possibly seeking faster courts or different legal windows for claims. Sharp's attorneys may contest this, arguing the case belongs in California. As we wrap this deep dive, we must stress again, allegations are not verdicts. Courts exist to weigh evidence impartially, and both parties are entitled to a fair hearing. Yet, in the court of public opinion, narratives often solidify long before actual jurors are selected. Shannon Sharpe built his media career on fearless commentary, sharp wit, and an unwavering belief in the power of truth. Whether that belief and the evidence he claims exists can carry him through this tumultuous chapter remains to be seen. The road ahead is long and filled with uncertainty. Will Sharpe reach a settlement to make it go away, fight tooth and nail for total vindication in court, or see opportunities that once seemed guaranteed simply disappear? Only time, the legal process, and the unpredictable tides of public sentiment will decide. Until then, keep an open mind, question every headline, and remember that in high-stakes legal battles involving massive fame and fortune, nothing is ever quite as simple as it first appears.